feel like it's time to put Brazil ahead of Argentina, if I'm being honest. Like, all due respect, because Argentina, I mean, again, these are weighted accomplishments. Like, this is still accounting for how well Argentina have been playing prior to the Olympics last year, the World Cup before that, in which they qualified for neither of them. I feel like you should get more of a hit from that. I don't think you should get more of a hit from being in the tournament and flopping in the tournament than you should get for not even making the tournament. The AmeriCup, man, the AmeriCup was a hell of a tournament. Brazil wins the entire thing. It's the smallest of the tournaments in terms of like they only send 12 teams to it. AfroBasket, you'll get 16. Asia Cup, you'll get 16. Eurobasket, you obviously get 24. And here we have the tournament, how it ended up looking after we got out of group play and got into the knockout stage. All of the favorites won in the quarterfinals except, again, Puerto Rico. They're the only ones. Jose Alvarado got hurt in overtime. Missed the game-winning shot. I forget the defender. He crossed them, dropped them. It's like a boomerang, step back three. Just missed it. They didn't need the three at the time because the score was tied, but he created an open look, like a really, really open look, and just missed it. He was having a hell of a game, got hurt. Argentina wins. Argentina upsets Canada in the semifinals. Go figure. Canada, just in a major competition. Like it's like they're snake bitten historically outside of the World Cup in 2023, which they got a bronze medal. But in this golden age of Canadian basketball, that's their only medal to show for, really. In the third place game, Team USA, who drops out of the Brazil went on a ridiculous run in that fourth quarter against Team USA, 34-9. Iago dos Santos absolutely destroying Langston Galloway and the Team USA defense. Brazil wins 92-77, but Team USA wins the bronze medal game against Canada 90-85. So the same thing as the last AmeriCup where Team USA beats Canada and Brazil beats Argentina here in the final 55-47. Nobody could hit a shot in that fucking game. Nobody. But Brazil ends up winning, getting their revenge for the last AmeriCup. Okay, back to the Americas rankings. Jesus, Team USA still first. Whatever. Canada. I say that as somebody who lives in New York. Canada second, Argentina third still, Brazil fourth. I feel like it's time to put Brazil ahead of Argentina, if I'm being honest. Like, all due respect, because Argentina, I mean, again, these are weighted accomplishments. Like, this is still accounting for how well Argentina have been playing even prior to the Olympics last year, the World Cup before that, in which they qualified for neither of them. Before that, though, they did win the AmeriCup. They did qualify for the other Olympics in 2021. They were played in 2021 at least. And obviously the World Cup in 2019. And the World Cup in 2019, I mean, they were that was when Argentina, that was probably the last reference we have of Argentina still being Argentina, because they got a World Cup in that. They got a World Cup silver in that tournament. So their second silver actually in World Cup history. But the AmeriCup, yeah, I mean, they won it in 2022. But since then, it's been a real drop off. They haven't even qualified for the World Cup or the Olympics. I feel like you should get more of a hit from that. I don't think you should get more of a hit from being in the tournament and flopping in the tournament than you should get for not even making the tournament. Like, I think Argentina being in the top 10 still is kind of crazy. That's just me. Brazil should be ahead of them. Puerto Rico, by the way, qualified for the Olympics last year and actually qualified for the World Cup before that. Got out of the, first phase of group play, advanced to the second round. And if they beat Italy like they did the year after in the Olympic qualifying tournament, they probably get to the knockout stage, the final eight. But I mean, they lost to Argentina ultimately. But I think Brazil should be ahead of Argentina. But Argentina, I mean, I don't know. Again, weighted accomplishments. Argentina, by the way, in this tournament, it took overtime for them to beat Puerto Rico, but they also lost to the Dominican Republic in overtime, and then the fight ended up happening. And then in the next round, They beat Puerto Rico, they beat Canada, lost to Brazil. Dominican Republic, 6, Puerto Rico, 5. So the top 5 in the Americas: USA, Canada, Argentina, Brazil, Puerto Rico. 6 through 10, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, who's 7th, who also dropped in the world rankings, Mexico, who didn't qualify for the America Cup, although they did qualify for World Cup qualifiers. So we will see them in November. They're 8th in the world in the Americas, 31st in the world. Uruguay 9, Bahamas 10. Bahamas is a team that I expected more from the America Cup. They didn't end up taking their main guys. Obviously, Kai Jones was expected to be there. Don't know what happened. 51 in the world, 10 in the Americas. So there's your top 10 in the Americas. You also have Colombia 11, Panama 12, Chile 13, Cuba 14, Nicaragua, the hosts of the America Cup, who actually, look, they didn't win a game, but they came really close. And I know people don't want to hear that necessarily, but with Nicaragua, it's kind of all you could ask for, is what I would say to that. They had the Dominican Republic team on the ropes in that last game. Now, DR was shorthanded, but Norchad O'Meara, if he continues to play for them, then they're gonna be really interesting to monitor going forward. By the way, excuse me, another big jumper here was Jamaica in the world rankings. In the pre-World Cup qualifiers, they added Norman Powell, recently of the Los Angeles Clippers, traded to the Miami Heat this summer, had them jump up 12 spots in the world rankings. So they're in the top 100 now. There's rumors of them adding like all these other players, Thompson twins, Amen and Asar Thompson. They had Nick Richards. Are they going to get Scotty Barnes? Like, all these different things. And ultimately, look, if you're like, don't tease people. If you're going to play for your country, play for your country. Like, just say it. Because I don't know, like if you're an NBA player who can play for somebody other than Team USA, I think you should try to do that at all costs, because you're not going to have these opportunities as often as you think. Because if you're going to be like, okay, I'll just wait for Jamaica to qualify for the World Cup in order to play for them, and it's like, what? You think they're going to qualify for that? And if you don't play for them now, they're not going to get there. I'm just using them as an example, but this is a team that traditionally, the World Cup, you get 7 teams from the Americas: USA, Canada, Brazil, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Mexico, and who was the other one? I think, was it Venezuela? I think those were the 7 last time. Argentina could obviously be one of the 7 this time coming around. Bahamas actually as well. Like, you NBA players who like, oh, you might play for this team, like, do it, because ultimately your team now has 6 games to qualify for the next round of qualifiers, and you're only going to be available to play 2 of them, because 2 of them are in the summer, the rest are during the NBA season. So if your team is 0-4, guess what? You might not be able to make it to the next round. And even if they do make it to the next round, they probably won't advance from there, because if you're 2-4, you're already behind the 8 ball going into the next phase, where other teams are like 5-1, 4-2, and then you need to win out, and you're only going to be available for 2 more games as well because of the windows: November, February, summer, November, February. So if you're an NBA player, you're only going to play like 4 of these World Cup qualifier games max, and oftentimes they don't. So, little side rant there. Let's get to Europe.